In the endless grasslands of the Masai Mara Reserve in Kenya there was an old lion who once made a legend throughout the region. He used to stand on the top of high rocks roaring loudly to protect his herd from all dangers. During his youth he was not afraid of any hunt, from wilder beast to mighty buff. Majestic and proud he led his lions to hunt across the lush green grasslands. The long scar on his forehead is the mark of a fierce battle with a giant buffalo that he once defeated. For many years that lion became the proud symbol of the Masai Mara, attracting countless tourists to admire. But time does not spare anyone, and he is no exception. As age piled up, his legs gradually became tired, no longer as flexible as before. The thick mane of hair was now frayed, revealing patches of dark skin. The younger lions gradually took over its leadership, and it accepted to leave the pride to find a quiet place. Now it quietly lives alone on the edge of the reserve, not fighting, not roaring loudly, just walking quietly. Every morning it looks towards the red dawn on the horizon, recalling the golden age of a king. Occasionally it follows the fence separating it from the farm, hoping to find some small prey to last through the day. The farmers in this area have gradually become accustomed to its thin figure. Some days they see it slowly walking, its eyes tired but still maintaining a bit of dignity. Although worried, they still respect the living legend of the Masai Mara, the once old hero. Some people sometimes leave some meat near the fence, giving it a chance to survive. It understands the kindness of humans, does not growl or threaten, just quietly comes to eat and then leaves. As time passed, its health gradually declined and hunting became beyond its ability. One hot afternoon it had not found food for nearly a week. Its stomach was empty, its throat was dry. It struggled to walk a few more miles, but was almost exhausted. The vast grassland was no longer a majestic stage, but a life and death challenge for it. In its exhaustion, it happened to see a puddle of wet mud next to a skinny tree that had withstood the sun. Its skinny body staggered towards it, hoping to find some coolness to cool down. As soon as it lowered itself into the mud, drowsiness came over it, and it slept soundly as if it had never rested. A few hours later the sun was still fierce. The puddle of mud gradually dried, holding a part of its body. When the old lion woke up, a fierce hunger stabbed every fiber of his flesh. His muscles were almost paralyzed. It moved its legs, but the mud had become a trap, sucking up all its remaining strength. A faint groan rang out, mixed with the sound of the wind blowing through the dry grassland. In the distance the farmers were still working. Suddenly hearing a strange sound, they walked quickly to find it, both curious and hesitant, because their intuition told them it could be the roar of a lion. When they got closer they were shocked to see the king of the past stuck in the mud pit, unable to rise. At first their hearts were pounding in fear of being attacked, but the image of the exhausted lion was too pitiful. It just lay there, head down, occasionally hiccuping weakly. The three men discussed quickly, deciding to save the old lion from the mud. They used ropes, wooden stakes, and even the strength of their arms to try to pull it up. The thick mud clung to the lion's body, making it even more difficult to free him. Every drop of sweat soaked their shirts, but they did not give up, because before them was a precious life. Finally the old lion was pulled out of the hole, rolling on the grass that was tanned by the sun. It was panting, its eyes were tired, and it had no strength left to fight back. The three farmers immediately backed away, afraid that it would suddenly rise, but the lion just lay still. 5 minutes passed, it still did not move except for its heavy breathing. The farmer saw the dire situation and decided to call them Psy. Mara Reserve. 15 minutes later, an all-terrain vehicle appeared driven by Bakery had been following this lion for a long time, admiring both its fast and its remaining resilience. He got out of the car, took the first aid kit and water bottle and hurried to where the lion was lying, observing the wound and breathing. Bakery breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that it was not badly scratched. Its problem was exhaustion, dehydration and severe malnutrition. He reassured the three farmers, telling them that the lion only needed rest and special care from the first aid kit. Bach took out a tube of health support medicine and gently injected it into the lion's muscle while waiting for the medicine to take effect. He told everyone to step back so that it would not panic. The sun was still shining brightly, but Bakery and the three men patiently lingered, watching the lion's condition. About 10 minutes later, slight movements appeared. It raised its head, sniffed, and blinked a few times. He checked its pulse and nodded, signaling that everything was getting better. Knowing that the lion would need food, Bakery took some meat from the truck. He threw the meat onto the grass a few meters away from the lion, just enough to not get too close. The lion sniffed, slowly stood up on all four shaky legs and cautiously approached it, took a bite of the meat, chewing slowly, its eyes still way but also sparkling with gratitude. The farmers breathed a sigh of relief, smiling at each other, because at least the old lion was eating. Its body would need more time to recover, but this was a good sign for its survival. Bakery smiled and said that he would report back to the management team to monitor the lion's health over the next few days. If necessary, they would move it to a more suitable area in the reserve with easy access to water and food. The three farmers looked at each other, feeling happy to have saved a surviving legend. Before leaving, they talked to Bakery, promising to inform him if he saw the lion return to the farm. The old lion finished eating, looked up at his benefactors with deep eyes, looking thoughtful on his dusty back. Each strand of hair was dyed with the sunset, creating an emotional scene. Bakery nodded goodbye, got into the car, and prepared to leave to give him some space to rest. The three farmers also returned to work, although their hearts were still following every movement of the old king. In the distance, the grassland began to turn yellow in the late afternoon, covering the old lion with a faint halo. It growled softly as if to say thank you, then slowly moved away from the mud pit that almost took its life. Its steps were unsteady, but its will to survive and a little faith in the kindness of humans supported it. Some tourists passing by realized that the legend of Masai Mara was still present, although not as fierce as before. People will tell the story today about the resilient old lion that was saved from death by humans. Bakery, on his way back, secretly hoped to see it again on the next patrols. He knew that although the journey was near the end, the lion still longed to live in the freedom of the savannah. When the night fell, the chirping of insects rang out. The grasslands were once again immersed in silence. It seemed that nature also wanted to let the old lion have a peaceful sleep after a turbulent day. The next morning, news of the lion spread throughout the farm. Everyone mentioned the bravery of the three men. Their hearts were warmed because they understood that although a ferocious predator, the lion still deserved to be saved. Some people chuckled as they remembered the way it timidly but preciously bit into the meat. They felt the dignity of a king without a crown, but still holding his pride in the following days. Bakery and the conservation team regularly patrolled the area. They always brought extra food, ready to supply if they saw the lion. Exhausted, the flow of time cannot stop. But kindness and sharing always exist in the messy Mara. Feel the story of the old lion became a living testament to the connection between humans and nature. Everyone hopes that it will live the rest of its life in peace, without days of hunger. And in the messy Mara the old legend still walks leisurely, carrying the respect of many generations of witnesses. Dear friends, thank you for taking the time to follow the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us.